Hey everybody, welcome to another Good e-Reader review video. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Today we got the Microsoft Surface. It's a day one release and we've been using this literally all day, and we are going to give you hands-on with this tablet, focusing primarily on the reading experience, so ebooks, magazines, newspapers, and a ton of other things. So without further ado, let's give you guys an idea of what this is all about. 10.6-inch tablet. Resolution is 1366 by 768, giving you a 16.9 aspect ratio. It's running a NVIDIA quad-core Tegra 3 chip. You got 2 gigs of RAM. There's two different models, 32 or 64 gigs. We got the 32 model here, and it also has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, twin cameras, twin speakers, and a whole lot more. Peter here is going to give you the full 360.
All right. Really nice looking, nice and clean. That's pretty much the way all tablets are going these days. You have your light sensor and your camera up front there. So we'll just bring this a little bit closer so you can get an idea. Camera with full 720p recording. Windows button at the bottom. Let's bring it up to the top and check what's on the top there. We have twin microphones at the top here and opposing. And then we have a standby button plus power button. So it's kind of, you click it once, it goes into standby, press and hold, power off. On the other side, we have one of the two speakers, 3.5mm headphone jack, volume up, volume down. On the bottom, we have the keyboard connector. We'll show you that in a second here. And on the right side, we have the power connector, USB in, micro HDMI, and the other speaker. If you turn it over to the back, you have the camera, and you have the kickstand. Underneath you see Microsoft Surface 32 gig, and around the side there, right down inside there, is the micro SD card slot.
So it's important to note that the tablet doesn't come with an SD card. You'll have to use your own or purchase one. I kind of dig the design of this tablet. It's pretty fluid. It looks really good. It feels like an expensive device, which it is. With the keyboard and Surface model, what did it cost us?
The 16 gig without the keyboard, which doubles as a cover, we'll show you, like that. The 16 gig runs about $519 Canadian. The 32 gigabyte with the keyboard is starting $619 plus applicable taxes in your region. So you're dealing with quite an expensive piece of hardware here. Storage-wise, I wouldn't really recommend buying the 64 because the SD card slot on here is supported. It does support SDXC, which is hypercapacity kind of thing, so you can actually put a 64 gigabyte micro SD card into this. So buying the 64 gig internal storage isn't really that necessary.
Okay, so we have the dockable keyboard right here. What are your impressions of it? When I look at it here, it's not risen up, but it's not. It's subtle. You know, the way that the keys are sticking out here. They're not like a mechanical keyboard by any means, nor is it just like a flat capacitive surface, but there is a small degree of texture here. You can kind of see it on camera where it's ever so slight. I would say like almost like half a millimeter or maybe a millimeter. Typing on it though is actually pretty easy, and we'll show you how the on-screen keyboard actually looks as well. But I found that when you have passwords that, you know, passwords these days often need to be 8 characters, often have to have like a capital and a number, and using this keyboard makes entering all those passwords very, very easy. Okay, now that we looked at the hardware, showed you a little bit of the keyboard, we're going to power this tablet on and give you the full review experience. Alright. You've probably seen this interface before. It's the Metro UI, although Windows is using other words and stuff like that now, but you can just swipe. These are pretty well all apps that we've installed. You can make these apps singular icons if you want, but I prefer to sort of know what I installed. You can sort of see live tiles here. We got Comixology, Zinio, Netflix, and so on. So I kind of like that. It's kind of funky. It kind of shows you new things that have just come out. We're going to show you the entire reading experience because that's the essence of good e-reader here. You can check out the weather. Loads quickly. You can see it's doom and gloom where we live in Vancouver. Hopefully all our readers and listeners out there are experiencing more proper climate. The big thing is the store. You can see here these are the applications. Installing things are pretty quick. All of these are optimized for the Windows RT, and the same sort of interface that you're seeing here is applicable to the Windows 8 desktop as well. So it's not just indicative to the Surface, but it's indicative to the entire experience. If you want to download things, say like we don't have iHeartRadio, it's pretty quick. Just we're clicking on install here. Kind of gives you some arrows and stuff like that. And you can see at the top here it's installing iHeartRadio. You can see a number of sort of categories here. If you want to look for something specific, you just click search and you can search for something. It's fairly intuitive. And getting rid of the keyboard, just like get out of here, and it just disappeared. I love it. So there's roughly about 8,000 apps on launch day. So there's a number of apps, and even about 24 hours before Windows 8 came out, there was 4,000 apps, and it jumped all the way up to about 8,000. So you can certainly see that there's going to be a ton of new apps that are going to be available. You can see home, your apps. I'm just going to single click on the Windows thing here, and I could just click again to go back to where I was. Alright, so you can see here is Skype and iHeartRadio, two apps that we basically just installed. And before we kind of show you sort of all the apps, I want to point out that you can click here and sort of go to like your desktop. This is sort of like a feature that is very prevalent in Windows 7, Vista, and everything like that. You can sort of see your action center. This is sort of where you can visit the old school version of like your control panel and stuff like that. You can also see where all your documents and downloads and stuff like that are. So if you want to, change like your battery settings like we had to change like the standby rating and things like that, you can do it. You can see with all the content that we have here, we have roughly about 24 gigs free.
And we should note this is the 32 gigabyte version in case you didn't catch the beginning, and you can tell exactly how much storage we have to actually play with without any external storage plugged in.
Yeah, totally. So getting out of here, just clicking it. I can go back by clicking it again. And you can just swipe here to look at all the things that we have open. So that's pretty useful. Alright, so let's check out the reading experience. We're going to fire up the Kindle app here. And this is the main interface. You can click cloud. These are the past purchases that you made. When you click on the Kindle Store, all it basically does is open up Internet Explorer and gives you like the web page version of it. It doesn't look like Amazon optimized like a store app. So we're just going to click on the Family Corleone. And this is sort of like the default thing here. If you just single click in the middle, you can check out a lot of the features.
Yeah, for sure. You have things like go to, you can go to a certain page, bookmark your pages, view your notes and marks, sync, and pin to start. So let's just try the quick swiping here. Obviously it's a tablet, so lightning fast page turns. You can see, oh, it's catching up. I went too fast, but there you go. Yeah, so pretty quick page turns, just in standard reading speed. It's not gonna take you out of the book. Single click in the middle brings up the bars at the top. We'll go to the fonts because this is the thing that we always go to because it's best to augment your text so you can get the most comfortable reading experience. You can see that the background doesn't change live like in most Kindles. However, this small preview box does. Margins. Easier on the eyes or for night reading, so there's 3 levels of color. Keep it on white and then we'll apply settings. See, we've increased the margins on either side and it's applying it to the rest of the book. Press and hold on a word will bring up an instant definition, and you can read the full definition at dictionary.com via the internet browser. You can also click
if you click here, you actually get like an audio recording. It sometimes plays it a little fast. Like it just played it, but it went too fast to really catch.
Yeah, we couldn't really get the whole microphone down to where the speakers are on the actual tablet because it plays pretty quickly when you click it. But either way, if you need help pronouncing the words, you can click that. You can click highlight to store your highlights, as you see. Where'd the highlight go? There we go. You can also press and hold and make notes. So you can write notes and save those. And then from there, you can view all your notes and marks that you've made throughout the book in case you forget what exactly you wrote throughout the book, and you can go to that page.
Yeah, it keeps a good list. Now, I want to really point out that a lot of these e-reading apps that we've been checking out need a lot of work. A lot of them have a fair number of bugs and things like that. But what are you going to expect? It's launch day. You know, these things will be refined in the future, but a lot of the apps that we've been looking at so far, everything from Comixology to Zinio to Kindle, Kobo, and a lot of others need work. So you will notice throughout this review video things may be lagging, some things, you know, sometimes crashing, but we just want to, you know, point that out to be fair.
Yeah, for sure. We're not going to try to hide what's really there. We're not going to redo when we see a couple stalls like we just saw there when things loaded or things kind of lagged, because I want to give you a good understanding that what you're going to get with this $600 or $700 device is what you're going to get. You don't want to, you know, we don't want to leave anything to be surprised.
True that. So one thing that we want to do now is check out the Kobo application. And you can see here, unlike the Kindle application where you double clicked, you have to actually swipe down and you can change the fonts. And it dynamically updates, unlike the Kindle application. There isn't a lot of font options, but you do have like about 4 here. You can also change the text alignment and sepia, nighttime reading. You can also change the layout from 2 columns to just 1. And then just click here to get rid of it. Now, you don't swipe with this app. You have to click. Now, there's no ways to take notes or annotations so far.
Yeah, the way when we were trying to long press on particular words, we got this box. If you move your finger even slightly, it goes away. If you hold it there, it doesn't do anything. If you let go, it goes away. This doesn't just happen on words, it happens on any point of the screen. We don't know if this is something that will be changed in the future, but as of right now, if you're trying to box a word or make highlights, you can see right here, you don't have any real control over that.
Okay, so this is sort of like the Kobo book experience here. As you can see, related titles. If you click here, you sort of go back to like the sort of the default store. I think this looks polished. This looks fairly cool. You can kind of see like the most popular books. Let's say that I want to check this book out. You can get the preview if you want, and it will. So it's downloading related titles and so on. No pinching and zooming functionality, but this is what you could expect out of the Kobo app. The next thing that we want to do is show you Comixology. When you flip it to portrait mode, it automatically scales. So I just wanted to point that out. But we're going to film this review in landscape just because it comes across better in camera. One thing that's very interesting.
Yeah, we noticed this when we were kind of zooming in and out. You can see that you can turn the page, you have to zoom all the way out in order to turn a page, or else you're going to get a little bit of a wild kind of workable surface. You can tell, I mean, you can just virtually keep going until it's nothing. And
speaking of keep going.
Yeah, one of the weirdest things is, you know how we all can pinch and zoom, and pinch and zoom some more, and pinch and zoom some more, but the Microsoft Surface takes it to a whole nother level where you can actually go as far as looking at each individual pixel. That's how much. Look at that. That's how much you can pinch and zoom.
And you can go even further than that.
You can keep going. But we're going to draw the line, and we'll come right back out and get to a comfortable distance. But we found this rather comical and at times a little bit...
No pun intended.
Oh, yes. And actually, at times, a little bit useful, because where some tablets will restrict you to say that, you can actually keep going and find that sweet spot for a full screen kind of, to make it really comfortable and make sure you're looking at it the way you want. But at the same time, it's kind of weird that it just keeps kind of staying where it is. There's no real borders with this. Obviously, as Michael said before, these apps do need some work. This is launch day, so we have to be patient.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if it's like a feature or a bug, but I think it's kind of cool that you can zoom in as much as you want, because like if you're an artist or something like that, I mean, you want to see like how they draw or how they've done like outlines and stuff like that. This is kind of a very useful tool to like check that out, or to zoom in on particular things if you want to do like tracing, or I find it's a cool gimmick to basically perpetually zoom in to like the pixel.
Yeah, they didn't put any restrictions, that's for sure.
Alright, so that's basically the comic book experience. Next thing we want to do is show you how a game works. Let's fire up a little game just to show you how this performs.
Alright. I'm going to bring up Fruit Ninja here. We've all played this, and if you haven't, it's a game where you are a ninja and you slice fruit. So you wouldn't be tapping on it or anything like that. You're slicing the fruit. So, for the sake of me missing about 1,000 fruits here, I'll just put it on Zen mode so I can kind of miss as many as I want. Colors are magnificent, big playing area, because this is a gigantic 10.6-inch tablet, so you have a large surface to play with. Minimal lagging, once again, it's launch day, so everything needs some work, but,
Yeah, I mean, this game demonstrates like a lot of colors, a lot of vibrancy. There's a lot of things on the screen all at once, and it doesn't seem to be lagging at all. And of course, this game is like a native RT app, so you're not going to be, this isn't like a standard type of game, but it's very cool, and it's actually very small as well. So one of the last things that we want to show you here in terms of reading is how magazines look. Now this is Zinio, and you can see here that this is sort of like a copy of their magazine. Everything, colors look really good. If you, I believe, if you swipe down here, you can go to text view, and this way, without all the without like all the pictures covering it up, you can kind of go here and check out just like the text-based view. And of course, many of the apps require you to just like swipe down to initiate it, and it looks like I swiped down too much. So Zinio, again, launch date type of title, and I know that they're doing a lot of kind of fixes behind the scenes to kind of give you the best experience possible. There isn't a lot of pinching and zooming functionality, because this is like a sample book, but once everything is loaded, like once the entire book is loaded, then you can pinch and zoom. So you kind of saw at first I wasn't able to do it, but once like the whole book is rendered, then it does allow you to do it. So you can enjoy magazines as they're intended with like full pictures and things like that, or you can go to sort of like text view and sort of read from there. But as you can see, colors very vibrant. Kind of does take a few seconds for like things to load, of course, but magazines are often fairly large in file, like anywhere between like 100 and like 400 megs. So you want to definitely use your micro SD if you tend to be running out of space, if you only pick up like the 32 gig version of the Surface tablet. Let's see how Netflix looks. This is another app that was built with Windows RT. And it seemed to be bugging out there for a second.
Alright, having some fun with the Surface.
All right, here we go. So let's turn the volume up and see like exactly how the speakers sound. So we're just gonna put the mic to the speaker really quick.
Terrible. Never thought you'd pick him.
Up. Jumping
Stick a needle in that kid's arm, it's gonna go right through it.
Someone go.
So not too loud. This could be like a buffering issue. But as you saw, we were having a little bit of fun trying to get it going.
There seems to be a lot of problems with pretty much each individual app. That's mostly because to make people feel comfortable on launch day, they did put thousands and thousands of apps kind of overnight out for the public. So you're going to see, lagging, crashing, clipping, stalling, just little things here and there, but these things should all be fixed within time.
Yeah, I mean, this is the joys of being an early adapter and having things like the day it comes out that obviously things aren't going to be perfect, things are going to be refined over time, but overall, picture quality does not look terrible. Buffering speeds pretty quickly. Here's sort of like a big action scene right now. So that's how Netflix and video looks on here. And I mean, there's a ton of content here. You get everything from like tune-in radio, and as you can see, it is an optimized app. You can kind of get your local radio built on, where you're at geographically. And of course we're in Vancouver, so it's playing.
Well, Duncan, BC, but close enough.
Yeah. So the sound quality is a bit better.
And I found a friend. Holy man, because it's getting pretty scary as the sun goes down.
The sun is going down earlier these days. So as you can see, it is playing it, even though that we minimized the app, which is cool. So it does handle multitasking and such. So pretty well we showed you an example of the reading experience, music, games, magazines, comic books. What do you have to say about the Surface tablet?
I think the tablet is really, really cool. It has a kickstand. It's got this really awesome keyboard that comes with it. It's a very large viewing area, full 16 by 9, 10.6 inch screen, pretty good resolution. Great cameras, two 720p recording cameras, great keyboard built in. All the touches work just fine. My only problem is that pretty much all the apps we utilize today, something was up with each individual one. We're showing it to you raw on camera that we opened up the video, stalled a little bit. We opened up the Kindle reading, didn't swipe sometimes. Opened up the Kobo, couldn't make notes. Don't know really what's really going on. The hardware is there. It definitely is, and it's structured well, and it looks great. I just really want to see the apps more refined, which we will. I mean, we're no more than 4 or 5 hours away from when it was first released into a store. So we're hopefully everything will get refined. Other than that, though, I think it's right where it needs to be. Although I think the price tag is just a touch too high.
Yeah, price tag way too high, especially going into the holiday season when everybody's trying to make some money off of selling hardware. It's very expensive. If you are looking for like a Windows tablet that is optimized for the touch screen, pretty well the Surface is about as cheap as it gets when you compare it against like Asus and Acer. We saw tablets being sold, like the Yoga tablet being sold for like over $1,000. So if you do get like the non-keyboard version, you're spending about $600, about $550 or so, depending on like where you are. Probably the price will go down in time. This is sort of the web experience, pinching and zooming, very quick. Overall, I like it. I mean, we've been playing with this like all day. Some of the native RT apps do need work, but I mean, I don't want to harp on that because we have mentioned it but a number of times. But if you're looking for something that will do a lot and is distinctively Windows, you're going to like this tablet. And once these apps do get fixed, I mean, it's going to be awesome. Reading comic books on a Windows tablet, magazines, newspapers, like eBooks, not being restricted like you are in the iOS or sometimes the Android ecosystems. full Flash integration. We didn't have to do anything.
I didn't even truthfully, I didn't even mean to press that. But
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the most responsive tablets we've ever seen in terms of like pinching and zooming, things loading up fairly quickly. It's a very unique sort of style of like tablet, and most people haven't done Windows 8 yet, but your experience with this tablet is very much like your desktop PC experience. Like when I installed Windows 8, this is what I saw, except all my apps were there, all my legacy apps worked, but it's sort of fun going from like the old school version of Windows versus the new school. And this is certainly the new school version of Windows. We've probably showed you just like a fraction of what this tablet is capable of, but we really just wanted to focus on the core reading experience and what you can expect, when you're powering this on for the first time and you want to do some reading, you want to do some consuming of media. This is mainly what you're going to expect. So we want to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/goodereader, or our website for all the latest news, previews, interviews, and everything else at goodereader.com. And for Good eReader, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.
We have a keyboard dock, and for other accessories, we'll show you that in a second after we go through everything else. On the top, we have one of the two speakers, 3.5mm headphone jacks, volume up and volume down. Twin microphones, you can see there, 1 and 2. Standby button. And charging port.